to those Republicans out there who are sitting on the fence, just do it this one time. Do it this one time. Vote for the Democrat to save the country.
Listen, this is not about economic difference because we are not running against a normal human being.
Right.
We are running against Donald Trump, who is an existential threat to humanity and democracy.
Help me! Help me! Help me!
I can't even believe this show is still running.
Just a propaganda machine.
This show is incredibly, it's toxic. Hi everybody, welcome back to our channel. So the vice presidential debate was, 6 days ago? And the left are losing their minds at this point. Live.
Yeah, Tim Walz lost the debate. They're rethinking their decision to actually have him as vice president. So his punishment, for losing the debate was to go on Fox News, where he got ripped.
Yeah, I saw that.
Shreds.
So yeah, he got slaughtered. JD Vance. You know, we haven't seen you guys since that debate.
This was the first and only time they ever had an interview with someone who pushed back. On them, and this is what they have been avoiding. They will not have Kamala Harris on a talking to any reporter like that.
No. Let's just recap the debate real quick. I have a little clip here and we'll move on.
Governor Walz, you said you were in Hong Kong during the deadly Tiananmen Square protests in the spring of 1989. But Minnesota Public Radio and other media outlets are reporting that you actually didn't travel to Asia until August of that year. Can you explain that discrepancy?
Yeah, well, and to the folks out there who didn't get at the top of this, look, I grew up in small rural Nebraska, town of 400, town that you rode your bike with your buddies till the streetlights come on, and I'm proud of that service. I joined the National Guard at 17, worked on family farms, and then I used the GI Bill to become a teacher, passionate about it, a young teacher. My first year out, I got the opportunity in the summer of '89 to travel to China. 35 years ago, be able to do that. I came back home and then started a program to take young people. Now look, my community knows who I am. They saw where I was at. Look, I will be the first to tell you, I have poured my heart into my community. So this is about trying to understand the world. It's about trying to do the best you can for your community. And then it's putting yourself out there and letting your folks understand what it is.
Governor, just to follow up on that, the question was, can you explain the discrepancy?
All I said on this was I got there that summer and misspoke on this. So I will just, that's what I've said. So I was in Hong Kong and China during the democracy protests, went in. And from that, I learned a lot of what needed to be in governance.
So he's taking some cues from Kamala with the word salad.
Yeah.
He gave you a whole lineup like she does of her entire childhood before he asks the question, before he answers the question. That was horrific.
That was a lot of words. So didn't we just bring this up last week or the week before? The example of the Ocean's 11. Yeah, when he told Matt Damon, you know, don't use 7 words when 4 will do. Like, this is a lot of work.
Yeah, when people are masters at being liars and being thieves, you know what I mean? When people are masters at that, they understand what they take in consideration is normality. Yeah. So if you're going to be good at debating, like JD Vance is an A+, and who knew? Who knew? I mean, A+ at debating. You know what I mean? Is that you stay on topic. Once you start rearing off topic and start talking about word salad about a bunch of stuff that was never even asked of you, then you look like someone who's trapped, like a dog trapped in a corner.
That constant face that Tim Walz makes, I'll put the face I'm talking about up here. This face is, I think in his head, he's feeling like it's a sincere, I'm being sincere to the public face. But what it comes off is that I'm weak and I'm not telling the truth.
That's something that Governor Walz just said is quite extraordinary. You yourself just said Iran is as close to a nuclear weapon today as they have ever been. And Governor Walz, you blame Donald Trump. Who has been the vice president for the last 3.5 years? And the answer is your running mate, not mine. Well, Tim just said something that I agree with. We don't want to blame immigrants for higher housing prices, but we do want to blame Kamala Harris for letting in millions of illegal aliens into this country, which does drive up cost him. 25 million illegal aliens competing with Americans for scarce homes is one of the most significant drivers of home prices in the country.
You, Governor, and just to clarify for our viewers, Springfield, Ohio does have a large number of Haitian migrants who have legal status, temporary protected status.
Margaret, but
thank you, Senator. We have so much to get to.
Margaret, I think it's important because
we're going to turn out of the economy. Thank you,
Margaret. The rules were that you guys weren't going to fact check, and since you're fact checking me, I think it's important to say what's actually going on.
This is to me when he took control of over the entire debate. The fact that he shut them down and they didn't know how to recover from his, I'm about to say all I'm about to say, like he was about to say what he was going to say, was pretty extraordinary to watch, because she was literally being faced with having to let him talk because she did something outside of the rules herself by accident. She's letting her emotions get to her because she doesn't want the right to win, right? So she just wanted to shut him down a little bit. But the fact that he commanded that in that way, to me, he just, that from that point on, it was his debate.
And with all of the media behind them, they still, they still can't seem to convince, I think, the most normal people in America to, vote for them.
Vote for them, yeah.
Process.
You notice what Governor Walz just did is he said, first of all, Donald Trump has to listen to the experts. And then when he acknowledged that the experts screwed up, he said, well, Donald Trump didn't do nearly as good of a job as the statistics show that he did. So what Tim Walz is doing, and I honestly, Tim, I think you got a tough job here, because you've got to play whack-a-mole. You've got to pretend that Donald Trump didn't deliver rising take-home pay, which of course he did. You've got to pretend that Donald Trump didn't deliver lower inflation, which of course he did. And then you simultaneously got to defend Kamala Harris's atrocious economic record, which has made gas, groceries, and housing unaffordable for American citizens.
Healthcare then.
Governor, you previously opposed an assault weapons ban, but it's only later in your political career did you change your position. Why?
Yeah, I sat in that office with those Sandy Hook parents. I've become friends with school shooters. I've seen it.
JD is just looking at him like, did you just say you were friends with school shooters?
I know that they were just like, man, this was already going bad for him.
I know
this does not make him out. He just said he was friends with shooters.
He just said he was friends with school shooters. I bet their camp was like, can you imagine the gasp in the room? He just said he was friends with school shooters. Now, what did he mean? Like, what was he? Is he mean that?
Honestly,
is that
I think JD Vance is so good at debating, and I think this happens when someone's really good at something, and then you're not as good, but you're doing the same thing. That you kind of look at their paper, which is why I started agreeing with him a lot later. You start looking at their paper instead of focusing on your objective.
Yeah.
And so I think what happened was he just wasn't thinking anymore. He had no answers for what JD Vance just previously said, and so that's why he was looking at him like, well, like, what do I say? Because the truth is Kamala Harris has been the vice president for the last 3.5 years, not Donald Trump.
Right.
So he does have to play whack-a-mole with the fact that she has the Biden-Harris ticket has had an atrocious administration that has done a lot of damage, and he has to defend it. The truth is that this administration is just too hard to defend. Yeah. And he found himself in a position because the Trump administration wasn't hard to defend. That's why JD Vance can just start speaking, without any kind of it sounds good. Right. Because at the end of the day, I think that when people pull the lever, what they're going to vote on is not personality this time. I think it will be the economy. I think it will be the border. But now that we've had the hurricanes that are going on in North Carolina, Tennessee, and the way that they have handled this too, right after this debate, then the hurricanes happened, and they're having this problem with the FEMA. You know what I mean? I think people are going to see that this administration is just a horrible administration. It really has nothing to do with her being a woman. It has something to do with the competence of who's running the country. And honestly, I don't think Joe Biden's running the country. Well, actually, I know that. He's not running the country. No way is that man running the country. Right. And to be quite honest with you, if she gets elected, she won't be either.
So let's look at this, this View clip so you can guys see they're kind of having an issue with this.
Everyone. So if you love that party, if you have conservative beliefs and you want that to be represented again, you have to vote for Kamala Harris to save it. And I thought that was so effective last night.
Let me tell you, so I voted for Hillary Clinton in 2016. It was the first time I voted for a Democrat.
Yeah.
And it was a very difficult thing to do because when politics has been such a part of your profession, of your social circle, of your family life, it really is a very hard thing to do.
Yeah.
So so I want us to recognize just how hard what she did is. And Liz Cheney has been paying a price for standing on principle since January 6th. This is a woman who could have been like Elise Stefanik. This is a woman who could have been like Nancy Mace and changed everything she believed, and she could still be in Congress, and she could still be in Republican leadership. Hell, she might be speaker right now. But instead, she chose principle. She chose having a backbone. She chose democracy. And I think we need to thank her for that. I'm also incredibly impressed by what Kamala Harris is doing. She has said that she's going to be the president for all Americans. And think of the coalition she's building. She's got Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez on the left. She's got Liz Cheney on the right. She's got Bernie Sanders on the left. She's got Dick Cheney on the right. Who would have thunk there was a tent big enough to fit all of those? So I think Kamala's being very consistent to what she said she would do.
I would say to those Republicans out there who are sitting on the fence, just do it this one time. Do it this one time. Vote for the Democrat to save the country. Listen to Liz Cheney. When everything goes back to normal, then become a Republican again, like Alyssa will become, and probably Anna.
Kamala said the day of the robust two-party system will come back.
Well, but listen, the thing is this. We can have policy differences. You can have policy differences with Kamala. You can have policy differences with Liz Cheney. We are not at a point right now to be talking about policy differences. This is not about economic difference because we are not running against a normal human being. Right. We are running against Donald Trump, who is an existential threat to humanity and democracy.
Alyssa and Anna are both Republicans, and this is what I talk about when I talk about rhinos. And these are dangerous women.
Yeah, they
and
are.
the reason why is because so many Republican women will think like this.
Yeah.
They'll take women's issues. And this is because we take up where there's more of us than there are men in this country. They take women's issues like abortion and things like that to pull women's emotional strings, which is why women, when I talk about women being leaders of the free world and all of that, is that we are too emotional and we are too easily
we're swayed in the wrong direction
through emotion and feelings. And you can't live your life based on how you feel all the time. You do. I believe me, I've done it. You can run yourself down into the ground with that because you have to make decisions that rise above emotions. And when I look at people like Alyssa and Anna and Liz Cheney and all of these women that are supposed to be so-called right-wing, they are not.
Okay, so we know the viable parties in America, at least, there's a two-party system. So the Democrat and Republicans, we all know this. The thing is that I don't know how you can call yourself a Republican when there's base values and principles that I think that the Republicans, just the base part. I mean, I know that everybody's the same, everybody thinks the same, but the things that they believe in are not like the base Republican ideals. They're left ideals. So I feel like this is when we say rhinos, this is what I mean. These people who are just Republican by name. They're just saying that to try to make you think as a liberal, if you are one, that look, Republicans agree with everything we're saying too on the left. See, even these Republicans. And it's always these shady Republicans out there, like this woman here. It's too shady to believe. I can't even believe this show is still running.
Just a propaganda machine.
This show is incredibly it's toxic.
And it's hard. And look, I am triggered when I watch The View. Because I'm a woman.
Yeah.
And I hate watching women just have a whole show for 25, 30 years now.
Yeah.
Just speaking all kinds of, nonsense that makes no sense. You know what I mean? And the reason why I do bring up things like abortion is because a lot of right-wing women will be seduced over to the left.
Yeah.
And vote for Kamala Harris based on nonsense.
Yeah.
One issue people.
Yeah.
One issue voters. Oh, well, we have to, we have to be able to let a woman be able to choose so she can go to work and choose, a career over family.
Yeah. No.
You know what I mean? To me, that is not enough I'm sorry to say, to give a damn about.
It's not, because especially when the compromise is what Trump has essentially done, is bringing it, like we said before, bringing it back to the States, right? So I think that is a decent compromise. I mean, in my perfect world, utopia world, there would just be no abortion. But this is not just my world. Right. You know what I mean? I have a view of abortion that may be, I would say, extreme right. You know, a lot of my views are on the far right. You know what I mean? And then, you know, I don't have any, like, I'm not middle.
Right.
I'm not in the middle right. I'm like far over there. So
you get a choice to your choice. A woman's right to choose is before you have sex.
Yeah.
Beyond getting raped and incest.
Yeah.
A woman's right to choose is when she lays down with a guy that she knows is not her husband, and there is that is when you choose whether you want to be a mother or not.
Right.
If you don't choose that and you go ahead and lay down and then you get pregnant, well, then to me you have to kind of deal with that. And this brings on the male side. Because then they tell men that they're not allowed to have any kind of point of view about abortion. Well, look, if you get to keep the child, then he has to pay child support.
Yeah.
So that's going to introduce something else.
Right.
How about if I don't want to be a father, I don't have to take care of this kid, so she chooses to keep it.
Right.
This is why abortion is just nonsense.
Yeah.
Because if a woman gets to tell a man how he has to now be financially when she chooses to keep her child, then he has no choice. He has to now take care of a child whether he wants it or not. It's just this whole idea.
I feel like it's just an attack on the patriarchy and men in general.
And you know, Kamala Harris has all but alienated men from voting for her.
Right.
And Tim Walz has been complete dud.
Yeah.
And I'm just disgrace of a man.
Yeah.
You know, just disgusting. So I mean, to me, I don't understand why any man would vote for this administration, but you know,
right,
takes all kinds.
All right, you guys, let us know what you think. Leave some comments below. We love to hear your thoughts on these subjects.
Trump 2024.